Hi, I'm Alexis Belton, and this is Send It, where we talk all the hottest topics in golf with two very special guests. This week, we're taking a look at the LPGA's major, the ANA Inspiration, and a blue wall that really got everybody talking, as well as looking forward to the 120th U.S. Open hosted at Winged Foot this week.
All right, welcome to another episode of Send It. This week, I've got Gary Van Sickle. Nice to have you again, Gary. And Dan O'Neill, a first-time guest. Thanks, Dan, for being on.
Thank you. Great to be here.
We're going to jump right into it. This week, we're going to start with the LPGA Major, the ANA Inspiration. They had an incredible finish, but somehow what kind of got overshadowed from Miriam Lee's win was the big blue wall, okay? Can you guys tell me a little bit of what you feel about the controversy over the big blue wall, and did it cost Nelly Korda a win for a major championship?
I don't think it cost her. She had two chances to birdie 18, once in regulation and once in a playoff, and she didn't do it. The blue wall is there every year, but usually there's a grandstand behind it full of people. And without the grandstands, all you saw was a blue wall, and you go, well, why is that wall there? It's like a retaining wall. It looked like a hockey rink almost, and it did keep Miriam Lee's shot in, but she took advantage of it and chipped in. But I don't think Nelly Korda should feel like she got cheated. She should feel like I should have birdied 18. And the Great Wall of Dinah, as they're calling this, is it's always there. And we should be looking at, Miriam Lee chipped in 3 times in the final round, and all 3 of those chips never looked like they were going anywhere but in. So it was she pulled it out of thin air. That's how you win golf tournaments.
Well, all I can say is Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. I mean, Gary makes a good point. The wall has been there, although it was a little further back off the green when the grandstands were there. But, for me, that's not a great argument, because to argue that it's been there doesn't make it right. I mean, it was wrong to put it up to begin with. It seems to me if they wanted to take advantage of that for advertising purposes or for sponsorships, they could float something in the water like they do at other tournaments, have that sponsor's name on it, and have it more prominently. The other thing about that wall is really, and I just thought it was a bad look. I just think, anytime you're adding a man-made structure to a golf course, it's not meant to be there. The golf course isn't meant to play that way. And so I just think it's wrong. Now, having said that, it certainly didn't impact the playoff. And Miriam Lee won the playoff without using the wall. So,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I agree a little bit more with Gary on this one, just because a lot of girls use that wall. And I think that it was probably perfect PR, because now everyone's talking about ANA and the sponsor, and I don't think they're going to have any more bigger conversation than they are this year with them being the sponsor. But it definitely, every major this year so far has had a lot of controversy and a lot of great play, especially on the women's side. But we're also coming up on another really big tournament this week. We've got the 120th U.S. Open at Winged Foot. We've already seen a lot of videos of how thick the rough is going to be. It's going to be a lot of great play. What are you guys most looking forward to this week at the U.S. Open?
I'm looking forward to, I'm not looking forward to seeing an Open at Winged Foot without crowds, without the New York crowds. I mean, in the past, that's really been part of the entertainment. Certainly when filming, some of the big name players really are embraced by the crowd or booed by the crowd, but the crowd becomes a big factor. So it's going to be a little strange. The other thing I would really like to see is Bryson DeChambeau just completely blow up, because I just don't like his approach to trying to reach 400 yards with a drive. I don't think it's especially good for golf. The game's not really, the game's supposed to be played out of the bag using more than 1 or 2 clubs. And I think Winged Foot is potentially the kind of place that can do that. It's one of the most difficult golf courses in the U.S. They're talking about it, for the past 5 U.S. Opens, the winners have been over par. I don't know if that'll be the case this time. Probably has to do somewhat with the weather they get, but it should be really interesting because this is, of course, one of the great golf courses on the globe. And I really think what you're going to see are the top players come to the forefront. That, you know, Dustin Johnson.
Well, of course, I have to disagree with Dan. You have to like Bryson DeChambeau. He and I are both members of MSM, Milkshakes Matter. So a guy who likes milkshakes is okay in my book. I'm looking forward to Winged Foot is I would say it's the best U.S. Open venue. And what I'm looking forward to, just because, especially in the wake of Dustin Johnson winning the 30 under and all the birdie fest we've seen, I'm looking forward to Winged Foot really giving these guys a good thumping and making them cry for mercy like U.S. Opens used to be. I think this is going to be a throwback to the 70s and 80s where the U.S. Opens were set up way too hard. And that doesn't always identify the best golfer, but I think we're going to get, you know, they've been more lenient the last few years with open setups. And last year, Pebble Beach, 13 under one. Nobody's going to be anywhere near 13 under. I think 5 over, like Mickelson didn't shoot 5 over, but Jeff Ogilvy did. I think 5 over is going to be a good score. The rough looks brutal. The greens have false fronts. They have false sides. They probably have false identities. I don't know. But scores are not going to be good, and I'm looking forward to watching these guys struggle because sometimes that's kind of fun to watch.
That's all for this week. I hope you join us for another episode of Send It.